the City Council meeting for June 15th, 2026 to order. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Cordes.
Here.
Marilyn.
Here.
Councilmember Bernatz.
Here.
Councilmember Winchell.
Here.
Okay. Any changes to the agenda? Bill? Okay. Look for a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Jake, second by Holly. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item 5.1 with our announcements is the Minnesota RE Journal 2026 City of the Year Award. Deanna.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. You know me, I'm Deanna Kennan, the Community and Economic Development Director, and you know Stephanie Amon, our Economic Development Coordinator. I've asked Steph to come here tonight to help explain what this award is, but it is the Minnesota Real Estate Journal City of the Year. So Steph, take it away.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm honored to be here tonight with our small but mighty economic development team, as well as the coworkers that helped make this happen and present the Minnesota Real Estate Journal's 2026 City of the Year. I'm proud to be part of Team Farmington and serve as your economic development coordinator. Economic development isn't always measured in spreadsheets. It's measured in trust, in community connection, and in the momentum that those connections create. We cultivate relationships that build that trust, that lead to real and tangible progress, often in ways that don't show up on a dashboard, but absolutely show up in the future of our community. Over the past 14 months, our team has worked diligently to be part of something much bigger, a citywide effort to build those relationships that support meaningful projects and amplify Farmington's story. A great example of this is Rye Apartments, a substantial investment by Yellow Tree. That happened because this whole team showed up. We shared Farmington's story, and we brought in our coworkers, and they did their work on that end, and we moved that project forward. And we demonstrated who we are as a community, and that story is unexpectedly bold. We take bold steps by being present, by collaborating across departments, by being resilient, and by championing work that reflects our values. We're bold in how we invite partners into our community, bold in how we think about our future growth, and bold in how we support the people and ideas that move Farmington forward. This award reflects not just a project win, but the daily behind-the-scenes work done by all of us that make those wins possible. It represents a citywide commitment to being consistent in our decision-making, bold in our relationships, and strategic in that vision. I'm proud of the work that we're doing, and I'm proud to work with our peers, and I'm proud that those folks have recognized not only our projects, but the people that work in Farmington and the citywide vision behind that. And that's what that award means to me. I'm proud to be part of Team Farmington.
Thank you, Steph. She said it best, and I think everybody in this room can agree with that. And before I hand this award over, I actually just read an article, and it was about never skipping the celebration. And especially in today's fast-paced and often critical world, it is important to celebrate. And so that's what we're doing here tonight. The celebration honors the hard work that makes winning an award like this possible. The celebration builds morale amongst all of us, which is important in our everyday lives, in our everyday work. The celebration creates gratitude because we have to pause to recognize that success is not achieved alone, but instead it's the product of teamwork, support, and opportunities. And finally, the celebration fuels continued and future success. We and you deserve this, and collectively, we will continue to do great things together. So with that, we would like to share this award with you. So Mayor and Council, we would like to present this award tonight. So somebody has to come take it.
Go get it.
Happy.
Well, you're the chair of the EDA. Would you like to take it?
Go get it.
Sorry, Jake is our chair of the EDA, which is why I sent him.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.
All right. Any comments, Phil?
Oh, where to begin? Such an amazing award. It's great. You know, this award doesn't happen, you know, without every single employee, including the boards and commissions. You know, it takes a complete team effort. So I just want to thank everybody, including the commissions and the board, for this amazing award. You know, and to the companies that trust Farmington and bring their business here, appreciate it. Thank you to them. You know, this award is simply going to make the city grow and thrive and be better. So I appreciate everything that the whole entire city of Farmington does for the community. Thank you.
Holly?
Wow. Yeah. So I got to be at this particular event, and it was a fantastic night. It was a really, really, really fun night to be able to see all of the people that were there, all of the different entities and organizations that were recognized, and then, you know, certainly whether it's the cherry on top of your Sunday or whatnot, to be able to bring this one home. For me, what's interesting and maybe even more impactful about this is just in my private life, I have the opportunity to work with some of the best business owners and highest level individuals within their respective industries. And I will say without reservation that whether you agree with some of the decisions that are made, the employees that we have at the city of Farmington, regardless of their level, are of the highest caliber of some that I have met in my entire life. Doesn't matter what department you're in, it doesn't matter what position you hold. I have never been in the presence of anyone in this community that works for the city where I have not been anything but wildly proud to be able to say, this is a person that works within our community, and we owe what we have in their respective lanes to the work that they do at whatever level that is. And typically you would say that starts from top down, administrator down. I would say in Farmington that seems to be a servant level leadership that starts from bottom up, which is a really, really cool thing. And grateful that that little guy sits here now.
Thank you. Jake?
I'll just add, this is an incredible recognition. So the city of Farmington should be proud. Everybody from those here tonight, like Phil said, those on the boards and commissions, everybody who works hard to make this city a better place. Congratulations and thank you for everything that you do.
Sorry, I didn't feel right coming up and taking it because I felt a lot of shame that I wasn't able to actually be there that night at the award ceremony, so I was feeling my guilt there. There's a phrase that we have at my personal work or my actual job outside of this that we say positively persistent, right? And what does it mean? It means that you approach everything with a positive mindset regardless of how difficult time is. And that is, I think, far and away the hardest thing to do in your professional career is to remain positive at all times, even when it feels like you shouldn't be positive. But as everyone has kind of pointed out here, nobody wants to go to work every day and listen to everybody complain the whole day about how awful it is, right? That's not a fun place to work. That's not enjoyable. That's nothing, right? So we celebrate our wins because that is what makes us feel good about coming to work, makes us want to get out of bed. It defines our sense of purpose. And everybody that I've ever met at Farmington in our staff embodies that so perfectly. I mean, even better than me. You said it right. Servant leadership. They inspire me to stop wanting to throw my hands up and complain, because if they're not doing it, why am I doing it, right? I'm not gonna live into that with them. So I really appreciate everything you guys bring for our EDA, and most especially that can-do attitude and that positive persistence, even when I want to be down about it. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I got locked out of my screen. Next up will be the consent agenda. We'd look for a motion to approve that.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Jake, second by Holly. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we are on to item 11.1, a letter of support for the Minnesota Valley Transit Authority's regional solicitation application. I think that's you.
It's me,
All
yes.
right.
Thank you. Recently, MBTA reached out regarding the regional solicitation application that they were preparing. The application explores expanding MBTA's On-Demand Connect service to Farmington. This on-demand service is kind of like a dial-a-ride. It provides flexibility for transit options and a way to serve Farmington. It is not a designated route, but it would provide a service that would connect our residents, our people who work here. It would allow them to connect into transit hubs, connect into destinations within MBTA's existing service area. Again, this is not a route, but it would be this connect service. So MBTA contacted us and said, hey, we would like to explore this and submit this as part of our regional solicitation application. In order to do this, we would also like to have a letter of support from Farmington. So we would like to be able to do that. And tonight we have Joy Stenson, who is the Community and Economic Development Director for Minnesota Valley Transit Authority. And we also have Luther Winder, who's the CEO, with us tonight to answer any questions about this. But what they're doing is they're seeking a letter of support from the city of Farmington to include with their application. Their application would look at opportunities to explore that connect service to serve the South Metro area, including Farmington. And the way I understand this, the application cycle for the regional solicitation is every 2 years, so they would be putting in the application for this year. And if funded, we would be looking at having this service available to our residents around 2030. So with that, I can answer any questions, or we also have our MBTA reps with us tonight.
Great. Phil?
No, I fully support this. I think this is a great opportunity for residents, people in Farmington to use the transportation needed. A question, so the transportation goes from, let's say, house to the transit hub. It doesn't go a house to a business.
Thank you very much. The way it would work is it would be customers would be able to utilize the app to book a trip, and they'd be able to go from their house here in Farmington to any destination of their choosing in the MBTA service area. So Apple Valley, Burnsville. What it won't do is it won't do Farmington trips or Farmington to Lakeville trips. But the concept right now for our south zone would be Lakeville and Farmington could book any trip they wanted to traverse into our service area and then back.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it. I fully support it.
Holly?
My question actually is on a similar vein to that. So it says right now that there's a $3 one-way cost. And is there a period of time as far as at a point of drop-off? So understanding that someone who needs a ride, let's say to their doctor's office that's up in the Apple Valley area, they would need to book that 3 hours in advance at minimum. They would be able to take the ride up there, and that transit bus or whatever it is that's picking them up would then leave, and they would have to book a second trip that comes from there back. Is that correct?
With one clarification, it's 3 hours in advance maximum.
Oh, maximum.
Maximum, yeah. So we like to, what our thought process is, we've always wanted it to be on time, on demand service. The longer you make customers book the trip out in advance, the more app you have for cancellations. So our goal is within 3 hours maximum they can book. So as soon as they're finished their appointment, they're more than able to contact us via the app, and we'll come back and pick them up. Our average wait time right now, our goal is 20 minutes or less from the time you book a trip to pick up. When we do experience high times like we do right now, a maximum of 30 minutes.
Okay, all right. And then sort of in line with that is from a MVTA perspective, if the support were to be gained to be able to do this, you're responsible as a company corporation to do all of the marketing to our residents and to make sure that they understand how to use this potential opportunity and they're getting it. That doesn't fall on the responsibility of the municipality. Is that true?
That is correct. We would provide the marketing materials, as well as we'd come out and do workshops. Joy and her team do an excellent job with that. As well as we'd work with, obviously, any staff member, any community agency that also wants information as well, too, like we do on our currently.
One clarification with that, I think it is.
Could you come up to the mic real quick?
One thing I think is really important for us to remember too is I think ownership is a big piece of this. So we see this as a partnership with your team. So like we'll put together all the marketing materials, provide you guys with ample information, but hopefully that's working, in tandem with your team, with your businesses, with your different living facilities, apartment complexes, and giving them the information and tools to be really successful in partnering with us to promote the service.
And then my only final question is, the way that I am understanding this, is this to be a Farmington to out of town and then back, or is it for individuals that are trying to get to Farmington? Does it go both directions? So someone from Eagan needs to visit a family member that's down here, they can now dial that ride from Eagan and be able to get into Farmington and turn around and get back the same way. Is that correct?
Actually, that is correct, yes.
Okay.
We've never discussed it that way, but that is one, yes. We've looked at it always, but it's bi-directional. So,
Okay.
yes.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. Jake?
All of my questions were asked by Phil and Holly, but I just want to say how much I appreciate this and how proud I am to support this letter. When my grandma still lived independently, this is something she would have loved to have access to, and even now that she lives in Trinity here in town, it's something she could potentially use. So it's something she's asked for years, and I'm glad we're able to provide this service for her and other seniors in our community. So thank you for coming to us, and I'm happy to sign this letter of support.
I appreciate that. As I drove in this evening, this city so much reminds me of where I grew up. And we didn't have, and when I came and talked to the city at behest, I think at the time it was Mayor Larson and the city administrator, it was a big night. We didn't have microtransit then. We didn't have Connect. We talked about local service. And at that particular time, maybe 2018, maybe before then, it was really talking about how the city was changing. With farmland, it's a need for transit options. So I'm just thankful that we're able to obviously circle back and actually provide something we tried to commit and had the conversation with so many years ago. But our goal is not only that we see proof of concept and we see the support, hopefully we can get on the line sooner than 2030 as well too. But I definitely echo, my grandma would definitely love a service like that as well too. That's for sure.
Oh, good. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I mean, if there's more than a few emails that I've gotten over the years, in the 5 years that I've been here, that have just been asking about transportation, and it's obviously no secret that we've had grocery store challenges in the past, and people have asked, how am I supposed to go get groceries? And this is one of those bridges to go do that. So very excited. I'm going to try not to put you on the spot too much, but we have a moment in time where we're talking about transportation here on the dais. And, as I recall, a few years ago, we kind of had the conversation around an actual, park and ride, basically. And as far as I know, this is all completely independent from that kind of discussion, right? And those two things would go on in parallel, not to be confused that we're doing this so that we don't have to do a transit station, right?
Our goal was to continue to expand and provide services here in Farmington, if the city is willing. So no, this is in conjunction too. What we've seen since I've been here and since 2016, there continues to be just this growth, obviously, in our suburban communities, and there's a need for better transit access. When we look at MVTA, we stop at Apple Valley, but you guys are part of you're part of obviously now this sales tax within the region. So it does mean conversations about how we do provide not only this service but additional services in the future, and I'm looking forward to continuing to have that conversation.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to use that point to say that, 2 years ago we had kind of done this sort of analysis and said we weren't quite ready for a transit station yet, but that doesn't mean no in the future, and especially not because we're doing this thing. So all those options I think are still being widely considered. They're all in the comp plan, right? So as we grow, I think that path moves forward too. So I appreciate all the work you guys are doing, and like I said, I'm very happy to support this as well. So any other questions from anybody? Then I would look for, what is the action I'm looking for here? I'd look for a motion to authorize the mayor to send a letter of support for the Minnesota Valley Transit Authority's regional solicitation application to expand their Connect microtransit services to the South Metro serving Farmington.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Phil, second by Holly. Call to roll, please.
Councilmember Burnett,
Yes.
Councilmember Winchell,
Yes.
Councilmember Cordes,
Yes.
Mayor Lean.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Citizen comments. All right. Comments are a time for anyone to address the city council on matters not on the agenda. Comments from speakers must be informational in nature and may not exceed 5 minutes. The city council will not engage in discussion or debate in those 5 minutes, but will take the information and issue a response to those requiring one by the next council meeting. When you come up to the podium, state the city or township that you live in. As part of the protocol, it is unacceptable for any speaker to slander or engage in character assassination or discuss personnel complaints at a public council meeting. As such, speakers will not be allowed to identify city employees either by name or position, or to identify any other person by name during the public comment period. If one does, their comments will be deemed done. Please address your comments to the council as a whole. If decorum cannot be maintained during a speaker's time, the council will recess to allow decorum to be restored. Upon return from recess, citizen comments will resume, provided order can be maintained. If order cannot be restored, the meeting may be adjourned. Is there anyone who would like to speak tonight?
David Pritzloff, 20255 Aiken Road. Mayor and Council, I'm going to ask you up front if you would consider a workshop on side-by-sides usage in the city of Farmington. I'll ask you at the end of it if a workshop is doable, but e-bikes, I know in the past you had a workshop on those. Motorized bikes on bike paths. I can tell you that last Friday, we were traveling north on Aiken Road by the Lutheran Church. 3-4 kids were on motorized bikes. I looked at my speedometer, I was doing 37. The one on a motorized bike was pulling away from me on the bike path. So I assume he was doing at least 40 miles an hour on the bike path with a motorized bike. Usage of side-by-sides, you know, I bought one 2 Saturdays ago. It was my birthday, so I bought it from the city of Waseca, and I have a list of cities that do allow them. It's an ordinance. You can have a sticker as far as, you know, putting on the license plates. For us that have side-by-sides, I have to license it like a vehicle. It's got a license plate on it. I have to have insurance on it. You know, it's a vehicle, and for all that money that, you know, people spend on those, we'd like to be able to use them through the city, not as direct, you know, not as my main means of transportation, but to support the local businesses that we have, whether it be, you know, coming down to grab something to drink or eat in town, or going to the car wash, which I do a lot, going to the gas station, which obviously we go through the gas with these things. But, you know, it also supports the local businesses if we can, you know, take them through town and go to what we have to do. I understand there's going to be a few bad apples that are going to wreck it for everybody, but I think those have to be dealt with by the police department. And, you know, if they're doing something wrong, ticket them. Like I say, I think the safety aspect of them is high. I mean, mine, you know, they make them, they're expensive. I mean, you got seat belts in them, you got turn signals, horns, everything. I mean, so it's, as far as a safety aspect, I think they're very safe. And like I say, I'm not using it as the main means of transportation, but we go up north a lot. We do a lot of camping. We got roads up there that we can go on, and trails and stuff like that. Mainly what it's for, but you know, down here when I see stuff that you know, is going on the bike path, that literally if any one of you were, you know, walking that bike path with earbuds in, or some small kids or whatever, these things can come up very quietly. I mean, I would think if something came up from behind you while you were walking at 40 miles an hour, probably startled the heck out of you, and you know, what would it do to a kid that you were walking up? So I think, you know, there has, if a workshop could be that way, I say supporting the businesses. Other cities allow it, and they have different ways of allowing it. You can, city of Waseca, $30 a year. You get another little sticker like on your license plate that gives you the, you know, right to, you're paying the city the $30. So it'd be up to the city to have that. where you're paying that fee. Other ones have had $100 fee for the lifetime of the UTV that you own. It's not transferable. City of Forest Lake, Anoka, North Branch, Prior Lake, Red Wing, Waconia, Glencoe, Virginia, Elko, Newmarket, Stillwater, Hastings, Victoria, Annandale. That's just, we didn't go through and look at all of them. That's just a handful. Some of them were around us, Prior Lake. One of the caveats with Stillwater, and I think it could be done in Farmington too, Stillwater allows them, just not up and down that main drag by the river there, their main street. Crossing that street, you can, but going up and down it, no. If we wanted to work at a workshop like that, and maybe say Highway 50 going through town, not, but crossing it, yes, something like that. So it's just, for everybody has their own thing in the city, that they want to enjoy life with. This is something that we do a lot of camping with and four-wheelers and stuff like that. I can sit on my patio any given night and hear motorcycles coming out of the neighborhood, whether it be 203rd Street or any neighbors by me, and I can hear them go through the gears until they're up to 198th Street. Why do I have to put up with that? They're enjoying their life, and I have to do that. So, will you consider setting up a workshop? Simple head shake or yes or no would be appreciated.
Thank you, Mr. Bertzloff.
Nancy Arsted, Castle Rock Township. I now have 836 signatures on the petition I presented at the last meeting. I will email these signatures to you. The petition is on the Facebook page, Farmington Data Center Watch. So what is the big deal? I put the numbers on a chart. These numbers I got from your city documents. In 2024, you approved 2.93 million gallons of water a day for tract. The maximum amount of that annually would be 1,069,000,000 gallons of water. In your AUAR, you have total wastewater discharge. You have a minimum and maximum. 354 million to 858 million gallons of total wastewater discharge. That is before evaporation. Evaporation on a normal water-cooled system would be 50% plus, generally. The next two columns are domestic water discharge. Domestic means typical office setting, the water from bathrooms and sinks. Your minimum is 236 million gallons. Maximum is 572 million gallons of domestic wastewater discharge. I do not understand those numbers at all. That's a lot of toilet flushing. Just recently, 2 months ago, you approved for tract this amount, 50 million gallons of water annually. This does not match any of this. This is our problem. This is what's on your AUAR. This is not. Something major happened. Something big happened here. This is huge. We want to know what cooling system is now going to be put on that property. The impacts. It affects energy use, noise, heat generation, outdoor equipment, fans, chemical use, storage. In addition, this doesn't make any sense with this domestic water use. Unless they're no longer going to be using sinks or toilets, this does not match any of this. Are we being petty by wanting to know this? Are we being unreasonable for wanting to know what's next to our homes? What's going to go in next to our homes? At the last meeting, we heard at length from a council member. What I didn't hear was a commitment to go back to tract and ask a simple question. What cooling system is now being proposed? Minnesota rules do not say an EIS can only happen after a final end user, final site plan, or final engineering drawings. If enough is known to reasonably evaluate environmental impacts, an EIS can be done. The AUAR process is not a blank check. Per the EQB, the project must remain consistent with the assumptions in the AUAR. Something huge has changed. We heard last meeting that the AUAR does not examine every possible operational impact, including issues such as heat, noise, air emissions, dust, and odor. When those impacts are relevant to the project, and they are relevant in this case because you approved the project right next to residents' homes, making them relevant, making those impacts relevant, then they should be evaluated. That is our point. At the last meeting, you said that at this point there is only a potential large-scale development. Do you know that Tract is working on the land as we speak? I don't think they think it's potential. How can you argue that the AUAR is sufficient while also admitting that so many significant impacts aren't even being analyzed? How can you argue that no additional review is necessary because the final details are not known, but then refuse to go obtain some major final details for your residents? And saying the impacts would just happen somewhere else, I feel, is a lazy argument. You, the city, approved this specific location, putting this right next to existing homes, next to kids, next to a trout stream. Your job is to protect this location from the impacts, not somewhere else. Until the city explains the cooling system and changes in the water use, residents have a real reason to feel unprotected and without a valid AUAR. We can see right in front of our eyes
Anybody else tonight?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Nate Ryan, I'm a resident of Farmington, and so there's a few things that happened about 2 council meetings ago that just had me that just had me thinking. I wasn't able to come and voice those at the last meeting, but the attorney in the last meeting called an AUAR like a probability, like what could be done, like an idea basically. But an AUAR is project specific. You looked and identified 2 specific projects. An EIS is very project specific. And I really think that not having an EIS and allowing this project to go through or to move forward, I think that you're doing yourselves a disservice. And we are seeing all over the state of Minnesota, there's just I forget what city it was, but there was just a judge that said, nope, you need to go back and do an EIS for a smaller data center than what you're proposing here. So you're seeing court cases not go in the favor, right? I believe the former mayor said that he promised that this would be a win, but we're seeing again and again court cases across Minnesota and councils that reject these data centers and they put moratoriums on it. So almost a year before, the very first city, Egan, did the moratorium, I came to this very spot and offered that as an opportunity for you all, not to stop the project. The 2 meetings ago, the mayor said, I don't want an out. That's not what I'm looking for. Well, that's very clear that you don't want an out, but what I was proposing was not an out. And maybe I did say that, but maybe an out to go back to the negotiating table, maybe an opportunity to slow the project down and to get an EIS, just to make sure that you're doing all of the things that, that protect all of us who live close, protect our property rights, protect our bundle of rights that every single homeowner or every single property owner enjoys. And those bundles of rights are spelt out not only in the Minnesota Constitution, but the U.S. Constitution as well. And when you start to mess with those things, you're going to get yourselves into some more lawsuits. And again, I'm not offering you an out, I'm just offering the city a way out of additional more lawsuits by bringing up moratorium, by saying or requiring an EIS. I think that you should all really look at those opportunities that you have to slow down, to make maybe some different decisions. I've never come up here and said, and I'll continue to say this because you all seem to loop everyone in. If we don't like one project, then we're just against Farmington altogether, right? That's not accurate. That's just not true. I oppose this project because of the way that the zoning was done. I oppose this project because it is an industrial project. I oppose this project because it impacts and has gone through this council way too quickly. And so I come up here offering opportunities, maybe not for an out, but an opportunity for a moratorium to slow things down, opportunity for an EIS. So you've gone as far as to approve a site plan, but what about the soil that sits on the golf course? When they start moving the dirt and the dust starts floating around, what about the 30 years of chemicals that they put on that lawn to make it greener, to deal with the weeds or whatever else? What are all those chemicals going to do? And would you be worried about those if your child lived close by? Or your child lived across the street? What about the issues that you're having with the title work right now, right? So I know there's a big dispute over the fence, 11 feet. What if all that's wrong and affects the entire neighborhood? And again, it's just, and I will place blame, it's all of you. So who are sitting at the council, who made these decisions too fast, and who continue to make these decisions too fast. Again, I'm not offering you an out, but just an opportunity to slow down and really say, is this good, right? Is this really where we want to put an industrial project of this magnitude? Nowhere else in Minnesota is there a 750 megawatt project going this close to existing homes. And nowhere else is it not deemed industrial use. This is purely industrial use. And I just, again, I really think that take a second look, take a slow down, take a stance. So again, you all just got beat in court again. So that motion was for.
Any more tonight? Oui. Roundtable. Amy?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. I have no report tonight.
Bill?
Nothing from me. Thank you.
Holly?
Can't believe nobody's mentioned hot potato days yet.
Yours.
I acknowledged this at last meeting. I'll say it again, just so that it doesn't seem like it's without its own hardships. Transitioning from citizen comments to roundtable is an awfully difficult transition. I acknowledge that. I recognize that it's hard for me. But the purpose of roundtable is not always to rehash or speak back, but to let people know about other things that are happening. And we have some really awesome things that are happening. And one of the really awesome things that is happening is that Top of the Tater Days is coming up here the fourth weekend in June. And just want to, again, give the hugest shout out of appreciation to the team of people that work tirelessly to put it on, to our city staff and police and fire departments for the work that they do to set up the barricades, to keep those that are visiting from out of town and those that are coming down in town safe during the event, and then just to encourage everyone that is in town that week to come out, whether it's for a couple of hours on one day, whether you enjoy the festival through its entirety. These are your neighbors that are working to put this on, community organizations that support it, businesses that support it. And it was an almost gone event not that long ago, 2020, 2021. We nearly saw the end of the event, and it was a lot of work to bring it back to where it is now, and there are individuals, very small group of individuals that do that. And so whether you're a car show person or a petting zoo person or a parade person or a beer garden and live music person, there's going to be something there for you to enjoy. And this is a way that we get to celebrate our neighbors. And I would encourage you to look for the volunteer shirts and give not one, but two, but three thank yous to them, because they've given up months of their time and several days in close succession. In my time there, we were up at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and we were up until about 2 o'clock that next morning, and then we go to bed for 2 hours and do it all over again. And it was awesome, and it was exhausting, but it was super fun to see people out and enjoying it. So that's my recommendation. That's all I have.
Thank you. Jake.
I'll also latch on to Holly's recommendation that if you can attend anything at Top the Tater Days next week, I highly recommend that, and thank you to everybody who's involved in that organization for putting that on. A belated congratulations to the graduating class of 2026 from Farmington High School. I was not at our last meeting, so I didn't get to say that, but congratulations to them and best of luck in all of their future endeavors. And on a personal note, thank you to everyone who shared their well wishes on the birth of our daughter a few weeks ago. That's why I wasn't at the last meeting. I'm sure our daughter Elliot and Bridget and Oliver are at home watching this meeting, so go to bed.
Lynn?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I just want to let the public know that the Finance Department is currently running short-staffed, so there may be a delay in customer service, particularly in the utility billing. So I just wanted to give everybody a heads up, and we appreciate everyone's patience and understanding as we work through that temporary staffing shortage. And I also want to let the public know that on July 6th, we will be doing a work session on discussion with e-bikes and e-moto, e-scooter, and side-by-sides. City of the Year Award, you know, I am so proud to work at the City of Farmington with this team. And Phil, you said it right. It's advisory board, it's planning commissions, it's council, it's our city attorney, staff, it's everyone. And I appreciate all of our champions that we have not sitting underneath the roofs of City of Farmington, but the champions like Dakota, like the chamber. We have so many champions that speak proudly of us. We're proud. And the businesses, the relationships that we make, it is all together. We're showing up, right? And thank you for showing up and being there. So that's what I have to say tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Melissa?
So elections will be on the horizon here soon, and we are looking for additional election judges. You can apply on the city website or in person here at City Hall.
Great. David?
Tonight on the consent agenda, the council, you approved a number of appointments, staff appointments. So I did want to address two of those that fall under my purview. So first of all, I just want to say that you might hear different things about what the labor market is looking like right now, but I can say that here in Farmington, we continue to get really very strong applicant pools, and that is demonstrated by the appointments on the agenda tonight. First of all, Tori Christensen is one of the appointed to one of the new full-time liquor store clerk positions that you approved back in April. Tori has been working with the liquor operations team for a number of years as a alcohol rep. But when this position opened up, was one of the first applications in, because he didn't want to just work with Team Farmington. He wanted to be a full-time member of Team Farmington. So we're excited to have him. He's excited to be joining us here soon. And the other one is Jeremiah Bauman, who will be joining us as our Communications and Public Affairs Manager. Jeremiah currently serves as a Communications and Engagement Manager with the City of Rochester. He has also worked in the higher ed world in communications, both as communications staff and as an adjunct professor. In addition to his communications experience, he has experience as a crime scene photographer, a digital forensic specialist. He's a certified project management professional, a licensed drone pilot. And during his time in the university system in Michigan, he also spent 7 years as a volunteer firefighter holding positions of training officer as well as assistant fire chief. So he brings a lot of a very well-rounded experience to Team Farmington, and he'll be joining us in July. So thank you.
Thank you. Deanna?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight we had an EDA meeting, and it was a little bit different than the EDA meetings we've had of late, and I'm really excited to announce that the EDA awarded 4 microgrants tonight to 4 local businesses. The businesses are Chill, Farmington Greenhouse, Farmington Gymnastics and Cheer, and Salam Global Flavor Grocery. So it was really exciting to have those businesses at the EDA meeting talking about projects that they will be able to do with the help of the EDA matching grant dollars. And so this program requires them to put in the match to what the EDA will be providing them. The EDA is trying to work with meeting businesses where they're at and just supporting local business growth. So thank you to the EDA for supporting our local businesses, and we're excited to see these investments being made. We'll follow along with these businesses and we'll celebrate them when their projects are complete. So thank you to the EDA for that. That's all I have.
Thank you. John?
Thank you, Mayor and City Council members. On the consent agenda this evening, you approved a grant agreement with the Metropolitan Council for water efficiency grants. I want to recognize Tori Wolf, who has really taken over management of that program, and she handled the grant application all on her own, and we're successful for the 2026 to 2028 time period. That allows us to provide rebates for water efficient appliances to our residents. Also on the consent agenda, you approved entering into a grant agreement with Vermilion River Watershed Joint Powers Organization, a stewardship grant. Recognition to Kerry Kubicek and Ben Humley, who really led that, and that will allow us to do additional vegetation and natural enhancement around the Vermilion River through a percentage cost sharing with the JPO. So I really want to extend our appreciation to those staff for obtaining those grants.
Thank you. Kelly?
Well, to kick off the Top to Tater Days next weekend, we'll have music in the park on Wednesday, June 24th. This will be a fun one. Dang Old Trio Oli. They're from Farmington. We're a couple sets of brothers and a childhood friend that love playing music and entertaining. So that's next Wednesday, June 24th, 7 p.m. at Rambling River Park. I want to thank the sponsors, Castle Rock Bank, Dakota Electric Association, Farmington Youth Hockey Association, Hobo, Sierra Jewel, State Farm, and VFW Post 7662. If music isn't your thing and running is, we have the Tater Trot on Saturday morning. Starts at 8 o'clock, 1 mile, 4 mile at 8:30 a.m. Hope to see everybody there. We have the Tater Tot on a shirt. It was a hit last year, so we're anticipating another hit this year. If running isn't your thing or walking, how about Kiss the Pig? All the proceeds from Kiss the Pig go back to the Rambling River Center. The contestants this year, Brianna Anderson, she's the defending kisser. She's from Dairy Queen. Dr. Mel Blanchard from Imperial Family Chiropractic. Spencer Elvabach from at Farmington High School Robotics. Ryan LaBrash from LaBrash Plumbing. And our very own Steve Wilson from City Council. So we take coins, we take credit cards, we take cash. Drop in your favorite bucket and see who kisses the pig Saturday at 4 p.m. She's not very pretty.
Thank you, Kelly. Chief?
Not sure how to follow that. I actually don't have anything this evening. No new updates. So thanks.
Thank you. Chief?
Just comment on, excuse me, Top the Tater Days. We're really looking forward to that and getting ready, and just telling everybody, come down and have fun and make sure you drink responsibly, stay hydrated, make it a little bit easier for fire and us in our responses in the area. And then also we talked about a little bit about e-bike. By all means, use your e-transportation down to Top the Tater Days, but please park it, secure it, and leave it outside of the downtown area so that we're not putting anybody walking on foot in danger with those devices. That's all I have.
Thank you. I had a few points I wanted to talk. I think the first one I wanted to get out was that I understand that in the last few council meetings, there were a few kind of breaks in our process and people speaking, I guess, where they probably wouldn't normally speak, and I just want to acknowledge that is probably my fault as the presider of the meeting, and I will try to do better about avoiding those in the future. I don't think this is anybody's personal fault or anything like that. I think we all just make mistakes on that, and we can all just do better, but I wanted to own that mistake as the actual presider of the meeting. On the e-bike thing, like I said, I think we are probably going to have a lot of conversations on that as we go forward in the future, right? It's one of those things where I've told people that the reality is moving faster than the politics can kind of keep up. And how do we enforce that, and how do we manage that? I hope people can understand that it's not as simple as just telling the police to go stop it, right? I mean, when you have young kids that might try to flee, that might try to go down a path, the dangers associated with those types of scenarios are real, and we need to evaluate what the best options to do that there. And I guess in this kind of gray area that we live in, all I can ask is that, as we've said in the past on this topic, that a lot of these things boil down to a parenting situation. Know what you're giving your kids, know what you are enabling them to do, and how fast they can go, and how dangerous these things can be. I mean, it doesn't take much for a 100-pound e-bike to run into somebody at 47 miles an hour and kill them, right? I mean, these are real problems. And don't just blindly hand it because we see it around town everywhere. I know my kid asks me every single day for an e-scooter, and he's got it all mapped out what e-bike he wants. And there's a FOMO thing there, right? And I just do your best to fight that and understand the reality of the risk that's going on out there. But we, as the council, can commit to continuing to have a discussion about how we do this in Farmington to be safe and reasonable, without destroying everybody's fun at the same time too. So I look forward to those conversations, but I think there will be a lot of them in the next couple of years. I hope to see everybody out at Due Days. I hope everyone stays safe. I hope everyone gets to know their neighbors. Oh, geez, I'm sorry. It's just built into me at this point. Top of the Tater Days, like I said, I love getting out. I love seeing everybody. My wife bought me pajamas just for the event, in case everyone ever wondered, so you'll see me in those somewhere throughout the process. Congratulations to our baseball and softball teams for their excellent third place finish. And then selfishly, because my own son plays lacrosse, congratulations to our high school lacrosse team for their incredible win in the state championship to win with 3 seconds left. If anybody gets a chance, I recommend going up and looking at that video. It's a wild time. And if you were lucky enough to be there, it was one of those kind of unforgettable sports moments. So happy to see the Tigers bring home their first state championship for lacrosse. So that's all I wanted to get out tonight. So I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Holly, second by Jake. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned at 7:52.